reading Sri Sai Ram, Dharma Vahini by Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba, Chapter 5, Cultured Women are the divine embodiments of Dharma. Education is necessary for both men and women, but education for women has to be imparted in accordance with the ways that are appropriate to them. Cultured women are really the divine embodiments of Dharma for the society and for the whole world. Parents too must cooperate in making them equipped with Sadvidya or proper education. Women should not be given freedom in certain matters. I will not approve of their being given certain freedom in the name of education, as it leads to their ruin. They must be imparted such education and culture that make them into ideal women. Unbridled freedom is destructive of Dharma. Besides, women will, by this means, harm themselves. Mixing or conducting themselves without any discrimination will produce results that are ruinous. Of course, there were many educated women in the past also, but they conducted themselves in such a way that they never gave up their dharma. They never forgot the goal of Atma Ananda or self-realization. Vidya or education must be built on the basis of Viveka or discrimination. Sulabha, Savitri, Anasuya, Gargi, Nalyani and other such pativratas or models of chastity, devotees of the Lord like Meera, yoginis like Chudala, all were born in this country of Bharat, and by their adherence to Dharma, they strengthened Dharma and the importance of Dharma Vidya. That is moral education, is it not? Once, when Sulabha was discoursing on Atma Vichara or self-inquiry with all her supreme scholarship and experience, even Janaka was astounded. It is through the example of such great and holy women and their character and conduct inspired by bhakti or devotion and jnana, that is spiritual wisdom, that even today saralta or simplicity, vinamrata or humility, and devi katva or the devotion, deva vikatva or devotion shine in the hearts of the women of the country of Bharat. Women of today should draw inspiration from those noble women. Efforts must be made to live as they did in the past. The idealism and freedom of a Hindu woman should always possess dharmic and adhyatmika or spiritual significance. She can master any subject related to the objective world which has gained prominence today, but the Atmartha or the true purpose of the self should not be forgotten. She must get interested in Vedantic study, which cultivates the antardrishti or the inner vision. A woman without this education and training is a rock without support. Sulabha and others who pursued such education and training became Brahmavadins or expounders of Brahman of great fame. Bharat has produced several such saintly and scholarly women. Even Vidvans or the great scholars and Pandits or wise persons used to approach such women for inspiration and guidance. What is that on which progress is mainly based? Well, the progress of the nation, the community, mankind and family depends completely on Sadvidya or proper education of women. The country can be lifted to its pristine greatness only through the Atma Tattva Vidya or the spiritual education of women. If the nation must have lasting prosperity and peace, women have to be trained up through an educational system which fosters Satshila Poshana or moral conduct and Sadguna Poshana or the moral qualities. The cause for the present fall in moral standards and social peace is Bharat. In Bharat is the neglect of this aspect of dharma of women's education. The earth and the sky are still the same. The change is in the ideal and practice of education from dharma to adharma. The education of today is spoken of as Vidya, but that is merely a way of calling it. That is all. It only deserves the name of Vidya and not Dharma Vidya. If you consider the present actions of the educated people and their personality traits, the truly educated person must be capable of imbibing the Atma Ananda or the inner joy of the Atman. He must have grasped the Atmartha or the purpose of existence. He must be aware of the discipline of self-realization and win the grace of the Lord. That was the diploma which every student sought to secure in the ancient education system. That diploma of the grace of the Lord was conferred to those who were proficient in Naitika Krishi or the cultivation of morality, Atma Jnanam or the knowledge of the Atman, Adhosubhava, Punaruddharma, sublimation of instincts, Uttama Nadavadi or the good conduct, Parishubhra Ritula or pure habits, Indriya Sikshasana or disciplining the senses, Manas Indriya, Vasikarana or the control of the mind and senses complex, and the development of Ghana Divya or the Suguna, great divine qualities. Today, however, things are different. Diplomas can now be gained by mugging up a few books. By going through modern schooling, one cannot acquire the above-mentioned true and grand Vidya Shikshana or the educational training. Women must be given education in a well-planned manner. She must be able to understand the concerns with which she is associated, such as family, community, country, etc. She must render service and help as she can, in accordance with her way of life, the limits of her resources and capacity, to the country, the community, and the family. No nation can be built except on the culture of its women. The coming generation is shaped by the mothers of today. This generation is so full of a dharma and a karma, injustice and unlawful, because they did not follow the mothers of the yester generation. Well, what is past is past. To save at least the next generation, women today have to follow the ideal conduct and character of the ancient mothers, past, present or future. For all the time, mothers are the backbone of the nation, the very breath, the very heart. They play the chief role in the drama of life staged on this world, a key role that is surcharged with holiness. Her mission is to lay down the canons of rightness and morality. She must provide children who are the future of the world with Naitika or the moral and Dharmika virtuous training. When the mother is imbued with virtues, the children also get the benefit and get similarly saturated. When the mother is skilled in morals, the children also learn to be moral. Therefore, The level of proper education among women decides whether a country is bound to prosper or decline. Her acts and conduct are crucial factors. The responsibility of the elders and the parents is primary in this. Take the students of today. No trace of culture can be seen in them. Matters of the spirit and talk of the Atma raise laughter among them. Nowadays, mastering foreign languages and adapting to offbeat dressing styles has become the awful culture of Bharat. But that is not the authentic culture of Bharat. The educated women of today are helpless when it comes to managing a home. The home to them is but a hotel. They are so helplessly dependent on the cook and the maid. The educated woman today has become a mere painted doll, decorating the modern home. She's a handicap to the husband, a weight around his neck. She's also prone to frequent illnesses. She does not take active part in the tasks of housekeeping, and so, by sheer idleness and eating and sleeping without physical work, she loses the digestive power that leads her quickly to death. Unbridled use of freedom by women has enveloped the world of today in an atmosphere of declining dharma. Instead of utilizing the knowledge gained from vidya or education discriminately to develop good character and elevating qualities, women are harming themselves by running after fleeting worldly pleasures, enamored of the pseudo-freedom which feeds their conceit. To get fixed up in a job, to earn degrees, to move about with all and sundry without distinction and discrimination, to discard respect for elders, having no fear of sin and evil, lacking faith in goodness in God, to force husband to dance to one's tunes, following one's own whims and fancies, to deny the tribute of repentance to one's errors. Are these the signs of education? No, they are all the monstrous shapes of avidya or uneducation, egoistic attitudes that make women ugly and repelling. They damage the reputation of vidya or education and undermine the dharma of womanhood. If the wife feels the husband's home as a sacred abode, then that home itself will endow her with every skill and qualification. There is no place anywhere which excels such a home for her. That is why a great devotee sang the following: Talike vadi ani tapula sechi punya mosagu satula devyalambu valandana sadgrantha pathana kastamu leku palusthra tumulun nerpu pathasala shramaleku tamyanta sarvambhu samakuruchu ananda mosagu vihara bhumi ajara dhulanena adimagap gala bhavya mahima chekuruchu sanmantrashala satula manuraga sarvartha sada anubhav kanta sobhagya kalyana kalpakambu pranaya tyaga padesha viragya shala patigrambhe satuleku patishala. Meaning, to a wife, the house of a husband is like a temple which bears all the faults as does a mother and bestows punya virtues, like a school where various shastras, scriptures are taught with ease by making her study many holy books regardless of how challenging they are, like a place of Virabhumi or Vihara Bhumi or recreation, where everything is provided without any strenuous efforts. like a mantrashala or the mystic mansion with glorious power that can even make one play with the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, like a sadhana, means or instrument that fulfills everything with love, like a kalpakam or the religious rule or a code that bestows sobhagya or good fortune, and kalyana or prosperity, like a school of vairagya, renunciation, that teaches about love and sacrifice. Properly educated women can render useful service to mankind depending upon their samarthya or skill or ability, abhiruchi or aptitude, manasika tattva or mental outlook, abhilasha or inclination or wish, subhava or nature or condition, vidya or antushtu, academic qualification, jivita, vidyana dharma, mode of life or lifestyle, or the supratishta niyama, or the principles that are conventional in the lineage. They should avoid tarnishing the reputation of their parents, their family, or themselves. A woman without seelam or good character is practically dead. So women must be ever vigilant when they move about in the world. They should avoid flippant talk or free mixing with men. The discriminating woman will engage herself only in acts which will add to the luster of her husband's fame and honor, never in any act which will tarnish it. That is why it is said, Sadguna or virtue is the sign of the educated person, the thing which makes education worthwhile. I do not admonish that women should not learn modern education or that they should not move in society today. Whatever they study, wherever they move, if they are endowed with sadgunas or good qualities, and if the sadgunas are accompanied by sat pravartana or good actions, samagyam or good company, sachilam or good character and adherence to sanatana, that is eternal dharma, and sadhana or spiritual discipline of vichara, that is inquiry, then what possible harm could modern education or society can cause? Study and society are not harmful in themselves. They are not meant for causing any harm. They react that the nature of the persons who make use of them and yield good or bad results. The cat holds the kitten as well as the rat in the self-same mouth, but with what a difference! The kitten, it fondles, the rat, it kills. The mouth is neutral. It is the guna or the nature of the cat that decides its swabhava or behavior based on what it holds with its mouth. So too, if the vidya or education is cultivated with viveka or discrimination, it can help in a multitude of ways. It can inspire the springs of paropkara or service to others, prompt inquiry into the Paramartha or supreme reality, promote the search of the Paratattva or the absolute truth, and even pave the way to become Paramhamsa or renunciate with a sharp discrimination. On the other hand, if the Vidya or education is viewed with Ajnana Drishti or ignorant perspective and put it to use with aviveka or non-discrimination, it might feed and strengthen the roots of falsehood, hypocrisy, cruelty, and injustice. It might teach newer means of deceit and ruin the career of human life on earth. It might turn love into poison. Therefore, whatever subject a woman might have studied and mastered, whatever degree she has won, whatever the status of her husband or of herself, she must hold fast to these truths. Her real saundarya, a charm or beauty, consists in her sadgunas or good qualities. Seelam or character is her very swasa or breath. Lajja or modesty is her very prana or life force. Adherence to truth is a daily task. She must plant the seedlings of Papa Bhiti or fear of sin and Deva Bhiti, fear of God, in her heart and foster them. She must uphold her feminine charm with honesty. In the religious, moral and physical fields, she must adhere to the strict dictates of dharma in thought, word and deed, and take that as the essence of all vidya or education. She must be prepared to sacrifice even her life for the sake of maintaining her mana or honor and maryada or self-respect. She must ever nourish and preserve her pativrata dharmam or chastity and adoration of the husband. Adhering to these is the chief dharma of a woman. The reason for her very birth as a woman is to uphold this dharma, prescribed code of conduct. Jai Sai Ram.
साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्।